Hey guys, Beebs here, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd do a quick check-in with the Quad Cortex. 3 and 4 months in now, I've got a good idea of what it's all about, thoughts I'm going to go through today. If you just want to get the captures and the presets, then I'll timestamp it and you can skip ahead. I'll go through a preset breakdown and show you the captures I've been doing with my BE50 Deluxe. And you can get these presets. So if you follow me on the Cortex Cloud app, there will be at least 1, potentially 2 or 3 of my presets with some of the captures from this. You can get those for free, just follow the links in the description. But if you want the full suite of captures, I've done like 50 or 60 of all the different channels and gain stages and everything. If you want the full thing, either sign up to my Patreon or this post, you can get the full lot. One of the main reasons I wanted to get it was because I needed a new audio interface. Now that hasn't quite worked out as I planned. It's just not quite flexible enough. It doesn't have quite enough I/O for it to work. It's kind of almost there, and the flexibility and the routing and power of this is really incredible. But for what I want to do with the podcast and live streams and as the hub interface, it's not quite got enough. But that's no fault of the Quad Cortex, I don't think. The workflow and the simplicity of using the device is really, really good. The actual routing and I/O, although it's not quite enough for me, it's very simple to use. Another thing that I really do like, because as I come into the ecosystem just as it was ready, the desktop editing software, as you can see on the screen right now, I think that is really well done. Sound quality, I do think this thing can sound fantastic. Definitely shines much stronger with captures than the actual point-to-point amp modeling. The cabs are fantastic though. The IRs and the cabs are really, really good. You don't really have to kind of tweak out any harshness. The cabs and the IRs are really nice. The effects, for what there is, they're pretty good, but it's quite limited and minimal again compared to Fractal and Line 6 as to how many effects you've got. Okay, so the negatives. What do I not love about this thing? Ultimately, I think my biggest concern is still going to be reliability and build quality. It's also a little bit frustrating, as I said, with regards to the number of amps and effects and the pace with which they're coming seem to be coming or not coming. I knew that was going to be the case getting in at this point in the game. I could clearly see over the years as to the pace of updates. It's still going to be a long, long road ahead before even just the current suite and slate of plugins are all available to use on it. And the final thing that really is frustrating and limiting, I think, well, actually one of the most frustrating things, is the lack of flexibility with the switching, the foot switching and assigning of things to switches. Coming from the Fractal world, which is complete ultimate power in terms of you can assign anything to any switch, this is very, very limited. So yeah, you've got like preset mode, scene mode, stomp mode, or hybrid mode. And the hybrid mode basically just splits the top and bottom rows of switches, so you can have your scenes E, F, G, H, 4 of them, and then 4 stomps on top. And that's how I'm running it most of the time. It's how my presets are set up, and as I talk you through those later on, you'll see how I'm using it. So ultimately, I am really enjoying the experience and the journey with it. It's not the answer to my interface dilemma. I'm still going to have to sort something else. But I really am enjoying like kind of having my toe in the neural world and experiencing what they're doing. I think that, you know, they're obviously a really important company with making a massive contribution. Okay, so I'm going to dive into the desktop editor now in the unit and talk about the Brown Eye amp and how I've been doing these captures, and then take you through the preset builds. Add me on the Cortex Cloud app if you want to grab these presets and captures. And if you want to get the full suite of amp captures of the whole amp that I've been doing and some pedal stuff, check that out over on my Patreon, and the links are in the description below. Okay, so I've gone through this process of capturing the Brown Eye channel and the HBE channel, almost every gains level on the pot. This is why capturing is probably not a good thing for me, profiling, because I want to just do every single setting of every dial to capture. And I know that is just the one-way ticket to Beeb's hell. I have to stop myself doing these things. So what I decided to do was to pick the tone settings that I kind of like, set the power amp settings that I like, and then be quite thorough with everything else. So the tone stack doesn't change, the power amp doesn't change. I'll put up pictures and B-roll of exactly what the settings are on the amp so you can figure that out. But then what I did do was create a lot of captures on the BE channel, the HBE channel, all the way around the game pot with the fat switch on and off, and very importantly, with the different gain structure modes on the back. Most modelers, when they're doing the Friedman thing, have pretty much always got it, I think, in the high gain mode. And this really shines, I think, in the mid gain mode. So there's a little switch on the back for the structure. So you've got high structure, medium structure, and low structure. And I actually think the amp sounds best when it's in the medium or middle structure mode. And that's what I've done for my main preset. So I've captured a full range of the gain knob in the mid structure with the fat switch on and off. And that's what I've got in my main preset here. So this is Stinky Opticians 1A, it's my main preset. And the way that I've set this up then is that I've got 4 amps here, and these are set to scenes. And then it basically goes through, I've chosen some of my favorite sort of captures around the gain knob to stick into 4 scenes. So on this one here, so Stinky Opticians, this is the mid structure, mid gain structure. So on this first scene here, we've got this capture BE50, this is gain 6, mid structure, voice 1 with a fat on. The second scene is going up to gain 8. And then the third scene is the gain on 9. And then the fourth scene, I'm actually kicking in the HBE channel with the gain on 9. So it kind of runs through the gamut of different gain levels. Now the first one, so in the first scene, it really is low, even though the gain's on 6. In the mid structure, it's almost clean. Beautiful, and that's one of the things I think that is kind of unsung about the Friedman stuff. A lot of Marshall cleans are maybe kind of sketchy unless you're turning down their gain channel, but the Friedman cleans are beautiful, and I think what it does even in the lower gain settings on the dirty channels is so nice. So that's on the first one, and then as I go through to the next one, this is kind of where the preset defaults to, is this middle one. Bring up gig view here, calling this dirty-ish. So the first one is cleanish, this one is dirty-ish. And so yeah, you can see even on the neck pickup here, with the fat switch is also on. Still a little bit more bite to it, a little bit more drive. And if you go to the bridge pickup, it's a dirty sound, it's driven. And you can see here down the side in the sort of the folder, you can see all the different captures that I've done for the various levels. So that's the second scene. The third scene is where it gets more chunky. This is with now really kicking this up a notch. So again, it's nice driven, high gain, more of a high gain sound. But the dynamics are so amazing, and I think the quad Cortex, it really is capturing this nicely, and the dynamics of the amplifier, if I play lightly, dig in, it's really got that bounce that the actual amp has. I really find with tube amps, when I'm actually playing them, That's one of the most pleasing things. It's like there's a bounciness to even the clean sounds, and that's what you get with the real amp, and I think this is what's captured quite nicely here, is if I play the kind of bubbly it's just so much like range of what you can get in terms of volume and gain and sustain just from the touch of it, which is really nice. And then onto the fourth scene here, so in the preset. So this is kicking in now the HBE channel, and we're still in the mid structure, voice 1, no fat switch, but the gain's up on 9 on the HBE channel. And we really now are into high gain territory. And that's the basic layout of the preset in terms of the gain that's available. So now, as you can see, like within my folder structure here for the BE50, I've got the MS, the mid structure, and these are all the captures. So I've chosen 4 of them here to go into the scenes for this preset. And so on scene E, I'm running in hybrid mode here. So I've got stomps across the top and then scenes on the bottom. So scene E is the lowest gain clean one that we had. Scene F turns on the next layer of gain. G, another notch, and then H, it's got the HBE. What I find with single coils, and I've set the preset up this way on purpose, is that for the lower gain ones, the clean ones, I've got the fat switch turned on. So I'm using captures with a fat switch, you can see here. So this is gain on 6, mid structure, voice 1 with the F fat switch. And this just works really nicely for lower gain with single coils, and you get that. Bit more roundness and fullness to the bottom end. Same on the next one as well. But as we go into the the latter 2 scenes, these are not the fat channel. When I'm on the humbucker and the bridge, you don't need the fat as much. But if you get the full suite of all the captures here, you could set this up however you wanted, whichever gain stages, levels you wanted, and with the fat switch on or off. You can get this preset Stinky Opticians with these 4 captures if you just follow me on Cortex Cloud and download it. And all of the other captures, all the other gain levels are available on my Patreon. Okay, so let's go through the rest of this main preset Stinky Opticians before we move on to the higher gain structure and a few other presets that I wanted to show you. I've got the, going into input 1 here, I've got the compressor, the optical compressor. These are the settings. I'm going to ignore these drive blocks for now, and then I'm going to come down to the cab block here. Like I said, I think the cabs are fantastic, and the IRs, the cabs technology in the Quad Cortex is really, really good. And I find it very quick to get great sounding tones. So what I'm using here, now I actually have the 2x12 V30s under the actual real amp, but I often find with IRs I prefer greenbacks a lot of the time. So what I'm using here is the 4x12 Brit 60B greenback 90s, and I'm using the Dynamic 906 and the Ribbon 160 mic, and set, as you can see, for that kind of smoother kind of sound. 57's a little bit brighter and harsher, and the 121, obviously that's the classic combination that I do really like too. I just find that this Dynamic 906 and the M60 is 160 is a little bit smoother. And then effects-wise, I'm keeping it really quite simple. I've got a stereo tape delay, I've got the mix and feedback on the expression pedal assigned there, and then I've got the plate lush. I'll just reiterate that, yeah, I'm in hybrid mode here. So on the quad itself, you've got these little the different modes, and I've got it set up. So if I go and show you this modes configuration. So yeah, I've got scenes on the bottom, stomps on the top, and that basically means that I can go up and down with my presets. But yeah, the basic setup to get the most out of these presets that I'm working with needs the scenes on the bottom, stomps on the top. But it goes further than that, so I'm going to go on to another preset now, which is Taupe Cornea, and this is basically the same thing but with the high gain structure, so the default, if you like, the level of gain that most people associate with the brown eye. And so this now is starting on scene G here, and this is with a whole other suite of different captures that I've done, where I'm now in the high structure folder here. This is with the gain on the high structure, and it's kicking off here on scene 3 with gain on 8, high structure, and voice 1, not the fat switch. So this is the traditional kind of, like, if you load up in your modeler the brown eye, this is the kind of, well, this is the 50 watt, of course, but most of modelers are doing the 100 watt. But yeah, this is basically the level of gain that you would normally associate with the Friedman brown eye. I just prefer it when it's in that mid structure and it's a little bit more open and a little bit less fizzy and high gain. But if you want the traditional high gain brown eye, then this is the preset for you. So this has got all the high structure captures in, and everything else exactly the same. So the effects, the stomps, and the cab I think is the same as well. And then finally what I've done, and this is with a view to the future because I think I will be getting a Nano Cortex, is I've done a preset. This is called 1C Spikey Mikey, which is a very, very British reference. Google it, and Greg's Spikey Mikey. Anyway, so the Spikey Mikey preset, I've done the captures where I've baked in the time horse into the amp capture. So I've done there's 4 scenes again here, but I've obviously got a lot more captures like I've done for everything, where I've got a low boost. Let me just show you the structure here. So BE50 time horse, this is the baked in, and then I've got mid structure, low boost, and then yeah, I'm using these here. So I've got 4 scenes where I've got the brown eye channel with the mid structure gain, voice 1, and then the settings on the time horse, it's like a low Klone kind of boost going and then just kicking through the gears really. So I've set that up as another preset. Obviously there's no drive blocks in this preset because it's a redundant, it's no need. I've still got the compressor on there, and then the cab and the time-based effects are the same again. So yeah, that is with a view to the future because I think I will be getting a Nano Cortex for traveling with. What I think I'm going to do is I'll put the Stinky Opticians on my Cortex Cloud with those 4 captures plus the bonus time horse for free. For anyone can grab that if you just add me and or download it. And if, like I say, if you want to get all of the captures from the mid structure, and if you want to get the Taupe Cornea preset with all of the high gain structures, then you sign up to the Patreon or buy the post, and then send me a message, let me know, or I'll message you, and then we can hook up on the Cortex Cloud, and then I can share the whole suite with you. I think there's just so much with my OCD brain that I've gone to town with doing all these captures that it's probably the better way to do it. You probably don't need them all. It's just if you are kind of completist like me. Otherwise you can just rock out with the Stinky Opticians preset, and there's probably more than enough for you to get having fun with there. Hopefully this has been somewhat interesting and enjoyable for you guys that have got quad cortexes, that like Friedman. Follow me on Cortex Cloud, download the preset, check out the Patreon if you want to support me and get all of the captures and all of the presets that I've done. And if you want to get the transcription to the solo that I was playing, that's on there as well. Much appreciated if you check that out. If you've liked the video, do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and think about ringing the bell. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. And yeah, I'm going to do some more jamming now. In fact, you'll hear now my very first take of the day with camera audio and all over the backing track, so you can hear me playing through. I can't remember what patch and gain level I was using, but anyway, It's not the point. I'm just going to have some fun shredding now. So enjoy.